knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men.
Turn your dial to find the frequency of the past.
Captain Advice.
Where the classic stories of mysteries, sci-fi, thrillers, and suspense are found waiting to be heard once again.
Another case for Nick Carter, Master Detective.
You'll find a variety of those stories here, in their original form, where each episode takes you to another place or time.
The Man of Bronze, Doc Savage.
But only when you find the mystery frequency. Available everywhere.
The Shadow knows.
This is Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. From the corporate office to the cab of a truck, they're here to inspire and empower women in all professions. So gear down, sit back, and enjoy.
Welcome. We're an award-winning show dedicated to empowering women in every profession through inspiring stories and expert insights. No topic is off limits on our show. We power women on the road to success with expert and celebrity interviews and information you need. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Kathy.
Country music is something that many people love. It's the roots of American music. There's a dynamic group making waves on the country scene today called Hart. This terrific African-American female trio is breaking barriers and making headlines on the country music scene. They've appeared on America's Got Talent, The Today Show, Taste of Country, at the Grand Old Opry, and they've been featured in Rolling Stone magazine, just to name a few. The Hart trio are Danica and Devynn Hart and Swindle. They're independent artists who have created their own roadmap by turning noes into notivation. That's something they like to say, and I love that. They embody diversity as they inspire people with their music. We love to feature Trailblazers, and these ladies are definitely that. They wowed Simon Cowell on America's Got Talent, and that is a huge accomplishment in and of itself. Two of their hits include You Can Have Him Jolene and This Girl Likes Fords. We have Danica, Devynn, and Trea with us today, and we're excited. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for being on the show.
Hello. Hi. How you doing?
Very good. Well, even better since you guys are with us. This is so much fun. This is exciting.
Well, we are surely excited to be here. Thank y'all so much for having us. And look, we apologize in advance for whatever may fly out of our mouth, but I'll tell you what, we're oversharers most of the time, so you at least have it the down home truth.
We love it. We love spontaneity. And you know, I love how you're breaking barriers, and I love your music. You're incredibly talented. Your harmonies and musical skills are impeccable, and people just love you. You got a standing ovation at the Grand Old Opry. I was reading that. You've gotten great reviews and accolades. You've honored some terrific country singers like Dolly Parton and Loretta Lynn with your music. Have you always performed together? I see you became an official trio in, 2018?
Yeah.
Yes, Chapel Hart was official this is Trea, by the way.
Hi, Trea.
Chapel Hart officially formed in 2018, but we started out in New Orleans, and we were just a cover band. It started out with Danica and I, but it didn't take long for us to realize we were missing that third piece of the puzzle. So whenever Dev came along, that was around the end of 17?
I know it was in 18.
Okay.
In 2018. And so we kind of once we had all the pieces to the puzzle together, we were like, we have to start playing the music that really resonates with us and follow our own hearts. And so, we took the dive into original music, and Chapel Hart was born.
It's so cool. You guys are in the same family. Danica and Devynn are sisters, and Trea, you're their cousin, right?
Right.
Yes.
So as children, did you kind of harmonize? I mean, how did you know that you could work together like that?
I think that this is Danica, and I think the beauty of that is that so if the people are always like, oh my God, it's so amazing that y'all are a family band, but I think maybe even more amazing is that our grandparents had 17 children, and there's 108 grandkids, and so
wow,
I always say,
good God.
I always say when you were born into the world, when they slapped you on the butt, whatever key you cried in, they just put you in a section in the choir, the kids choir.
I love it. That's
So
great.
at any given time, we had a youth choir with like all of us and our cousins, anywhere from 25 to 50 to 60 kids at one time in this little choir. And that's where it really all began for us. And
Mhm.
having a family that large, music was always surrounded, like everything was surrounded around music. As Tree said, we didn't even know we grew up in a musical until like when you grew up and thought about it. We were like, oh my gosh, everything was always music. And I think that's where our first love for music came from.
Well, when you start that young too, and you're singing with other people, you're not intimidated to do it. And what a great training ground.
Oh man, I think I would think that like kind of when we started out singing in New Orleans, just Tree and I, we started on the streets. And kind of once we got our first couple of inside gigs, people would come and like watch the whole show from front to back. And in my mind, I would always just be so mind blown that people would stay and watch, because for us, it was just the two of us kind of being silly and singing two-part harmony, but people were just like blown away. And I was like, well, this is weird. Like, and so I guess maybe the beauty of growing up, surrounded by that type of that type of love for music.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you always sing country music growing up, or was it a little bit of gospel? I mean, what types of music?
This is Tree, and we grew up singing in the church, so gospel definitely played a big part. But also, we grew up in South Mississippi, in Poplarville, Mississippi, to be exact. And country music is kind of just everywhere. And honestly, it's really the only kind of music that we could really like relate to, because you might have songs about fancy cars and all the things, but growing up in South Mississippi, that really wasn't reality. But if you sing a song about riding an old truck through a field and playing outside barefoot with your cousins, like that really hit home for us.
Right. And also too, I feel like we were in a special place musically, because they had a CMT put on a breaking glass ceilings event, and they honored Tanya Tucker and Patti LaBelle. And I was like, it's kind of like growing up in our houses. All of our aunties would listen to like blues and Patti LaBelle and all the things. Our grandpa, our pawpaw listened to. He and his friends always listened to blues. And Tree, when she was younger, she sang in a mud bog band. So it was kind of rock infused. So to say that we grew up on everything is not an understatement.
That makes you a more well-rounded musician. Question: what is a mud dog band?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What is that?
Well, it's a mud bog, and
mud bog. Okay.
Used to have like one of the biggest mud bogs like in South Mississippi. But for those who don't know what a mud bog is, imagine about the length of about a football field and a half, but that football field is filled with about 5 to 10 feet of mud, and people come from all over with giant trucks to race across. And
like my work.
There you go, Kathy. You'd be able to ace that, Kathy.
I'm gonna sign up for that.
If they've got a big grand prize, we're nominating Kathy to come on our behalf.
Oh man.
Man, I just realized
yes, please.
We might have to hurry up and become international superstars so we can sponsor Kathy, because I feel like she would put a lot of these guys to shame.
We're bringing out the big machines.
And Kathy, you can bring your big truck and they'll all go, whoa.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, that is so cool. And the variety of music that you were exposed to, and the fact that you decided to just basically bring your roots to the public. And
I love it.
You are trailblazers. You're not afraid of the barriers. That's wonderful. And people love you for this. I mean, you are a wonderful example for women, African-American women, anybody who's thinking about going into country music, because that's got to be a bit daunting.
It's like, I feel like it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to take in, because I feel like when you're grinding so hard and you're just trying to be original and you're trying to write down your thoughts and you're trying to remember the stories from when you were little, and you're just trying to get to write down the things that are true and honest in your heart and put them on paper and to give them to the world. Like sometimes I feel like we just cross our fingers and go, we hope they get it. Mm-hmm. But then it's taking the time to slow down to actually like see the fruit of your labor. And I think sometimes we don't do a lot of that. And so like to hear you say like y'all are trailblazers and y'all are such, and it's like, sometimes it's kind of like, oh, like to hear, because when you're grinding and you're just face down and focused, I think it's not the thing that you think of. It's not the thing that's on the forefront of your brain. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's well-deserved. Yeah, I think a lot of people in the public think when somebody finally makes it, they're an overnight sensation. But there's a whole lot of work that goes into being out there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to do a lot of practicing before you get to Carnegie Hall, right?
Yes.
Or
I
in
used
your
to
case.
practice with my sisters. I have 2 older sisters, but we would lip sing in our living room, and I was always the drummer with the wooden spoons on the pillow. Yeah, we were terrible, so obviously that didn't last very long. But I can appreciate just the thought of how you guys might have grown up and working together and singing together, and yeah, I think it creates even a stronger bond.
Yeah.
Like family-wise, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine your family reunions. They've got to be some phenomenal reunions with all the music.
This is Devynn, and honestly, our family reunions, really any type of family get-together is insane. People always kind of talk about it like, oh gosh, we have so much family. We have about 12 people that come over, and I'm like, I wish it was that like there's at any given function, there's no less than about 70 people. There's always somebody pulling out a keyboard out of their car or playing some kind of instrument. There's always music and all the things going on. So our family functions are always definitely just super. It's like something you see out of a movie, I guess.
That would be
like Cirque du Soleil.
Yes.
Pete, you could charge admission. I'm sure it's just awesome to listen to, How much fun is that? I mean, some people have family reunions and they don't go so well. They're squabbling, but you guys have harmony. So this is great.
Well, we have that too. It literally includes all of it. All the fights, the arguing, the loving, the hugs, the making up. It's all in one. So you just never know what you get when you show up to a family function. When you have that many people in one place, there's bound to be, it's going to run the gamut.
Let me tell you what, it is the most love-filled, dramatic event and emphasis on dramatic. Okay. But it was just, but it's just one of those things. And it's funny now because all of our family members, they've become like friends with a lot of our fans on Facebook. So they're kind of like evolving to this like fandom, like we call them our famdamly. So it's turned into this big famdamly event where there's fans and people. I'm like, family, y'all gotta stop inviting people. We're not gonna have anywhere to hold all of us.
Sure.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I have one question for you. Do you want to stop worrying about the IRS? If the answer is yes, then look no further. I've been around for years. I've helped countless people across the country, and my success rate speaks for itself. So now you know where to find good, honest help with your tax problems. What are you waiting for? If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed in years, call me now at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com for a free consultation and get your life back.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
If you're enjoying this informative episode of Women Road Warriors, I wanted to mention Kathy and I explore all kinds of topics that will power you on the road to success. We feature a lot of expert interviews. Plus, we feature celebrities and women who've been trailblazers. Please check out our podcast at womenroadwarriors.com and click on our episodes page. We're also available wherever you listen to podcasts, on all the major podcast channels like Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, you name it. Check us out and bookmark our podcast. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, and other sites. And tell others about us. We want to help as many women as possible. Chapel Hart is rocking the country music scene and breaking barriers. This dynamic African-American trio are trailblazers. They inspire everyone who hears them. They got one of their first breaks on America's Got Talent, and they haven't stopped. Bravo is a word befitting this talented group of ladies. They were basically born into music. Growing up in the same family, music has always been a part of their lives. As we were told, music's a family tradition, and when they were born, whatever key they cried in when they were slapped on the butt, they were just put in the appropriate section of the kids' choir. There were 25 to 60 kids in the family choir at any given time. Everything was always music. Chapel Hart's been exposed to all kinds of music, too, and their repertoire and technique are impeccable. They bring a fresh sound to country music fans with both their covers and their original tunes. They've had highly successful albums like Glory Days, The Girls Are Back in Town, and Out in the Mud, which have gotten rave reviews and accolades. So what inspired you to take on this journey? I want to talk about your music. There's a couple songs we're going to be featuring, but I wanted to ask, what inspired you to say, we're going to take this to the next level?
Well, what inspired us to take it to the next level?
I think we just this is Devyn. I think we just kind of reached that place where it was like, as when we were the cover band, it was like, okay, well, if we're ever going to, be taken serious, we felt like we wanted to be taken serious. We'd have to start writing our own music and kind of running it that way. And so we all kind of sat down and decided that we wanted to kind of go that route. And we just, I think that was kind of where it started. Mm-hmm. The base and started.
And this is Trea, and I'll kind of like continue that a little bit, because I kind of feel like once we did make the jump and start writing our original music, it kind of like dawned on us, like, you can sing a great cover that someone's heard a million times, but whenever you put your own experience in your own story, when you put those words to paper, put those words to a song, and you see the way that we see the way that our own personal experience is kind of like translated to these people hearing these songs, it's kind of like a responsibility at that time to go ahead and like extend that musical saga.
And I think for us, that we just kept kind of writing down, like, it was funny. It kind of started as like this giggle moment. It's like, well, what if we played this place? What if we played this place? What if we went on tour? What if we did this? And we started doing those things, and we started checking those off the list, and we kept writing down on the list. And then it was, well, what if we ever, like, can you imagine if we would have went to the Grand Old Opry? Like, can you imagine that? And then, or the Ryman. And next thing you know, we're playing these places. And so we always, a lot of times we'll be at our show and we dedicate certain songs to the dreamers, because I'm like, I think that's a big message for us, is whatever you do, don't stop dreaming. Don't stop believing that you can do the things that you know that you can do.
Amen.
Because sometimes you just need somebody to say, look, you got this. And you need to look at somebody and say, oh man, if they can do it, I can do it. So I think that's been the biggest thing for us.
You're inspiring a lot of people. This is terrific. And yes, people forget to dream, especially when they become adults. They lose those dreams. Children dream. They have vivid imaginations.
It was so funny. We were in the studio the other day, and our producer's son came in. He's 18, and he was like, I just cannot stand coffee. He said, I've tried it every way. I said, oh, you just wait till you grow up in the miseries of life. That coffee's going to taste so amazing.
Gotta have a little of that Java, no doubt. I can't start the day without it. I can't speak correctly unless I've had at least a cup of coffee.
I'm telling you, he'll find the magic, right? But it's fun. But sometimes I feel like, the older that you get and the more that kind of life starts life. And it gets easier and easier and easier to go, you know what? Well, I'll just put this on the back burner. I'll turn it into my hobby. And then next thing you know, you're not doing it at all. Yeah. And and it's just our little. I said, like, regardless if we have no clue what we've got going on, if people are like, what are y'all doing? How can you describe it? Look, we're just out to show people, and we're out to be in the world to show people that it can be done, because everything about this group, it probably does not scream country music. Everybody said, y'all are crazy. Like, this is never gonna work. So we had to, as Trea always says, we turn those no's into notivation.
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah. That's a great motto. You need to trademark that.
Well, there you go.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
this is Trea, and I kind of like, you kind of hit something that like has really, really resonated with us recently, because you said like sometimes, you know, kids have a big imagination, but as people get older, sometimes they forget that they too are dreamers. But we have there's a fan of ours in New Orleans. We call him Uncle Jerry. He's this guy. He's been playing the trumpet longer than probably everybody on this call combined has been alive, and he's probably in his early 80s, but like he was listening to our latest album and he sent us a message. He's, I just want to let you know that you ladies inspire me. I'm practicing my trumpet even more every day, and you make me want to accomplish new things. And this man has played with Springsteen, so the fact that he can listen to us and feel inspired, and like it really touched my heart.
That's exciting.
Shelley, I always say that, you know, people always go, oh my God, y'all are so amazing, y'all are so great. I said, but I feel like the greatest compliment that anyone can ever give you is to walk away from the art that you put into the world and say, you inspired me. I've started painting again. I've started writing again. I started singing again. I started baking again. And, you know, when you can inspire somebody, that's top tier to me.
That's what music's all about when you think about it. It's the most universal language, and it inspires people to do great things. Well, heck, I use music to inspire me to clean the house, because that's not what I like to do. So you've got some tremendous courage too, and I love your tenacity. I mean, you got on America's Got Talent, and you did a tribute song to the Queen of Country, Dolly Parton, with your original song, You Can Have Him Jolene. You did a fabulous job on America's Got Talent. All the judges there, along with Simon Cowell, were just awestruck by you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I watched that.
Every time this subject comes up, I think we get a little more excited. Like it's like we get to relive it. But you know, I feel like our biggest fear was like, what is Simon gonna say?
Oh yeah.
And the fact that he just fell in love with us from the jump. I still to this day, I'm waiting for him to say something mean. Like, you know, he has only said kind things and nice things to us, but I'm still kind of waiting for him to say something mean. But you know, I couldn't believe it, and I think that AGT was one of the like most spontaneous kind of like you know things
on the whim.
Yeah, because originally if we said no 15 times. They asked us 16 times. They were like, please, we love your music. There's a girl named Lindsay Rush, and she said, please, the world needs to hear your music. We're like, no, thank you. So like I said, we went back and forth. And we were like, listen, okay, we'll audition, you know. But yeah, it's just one of those very special, that audition, the whole process we love, but the audition was just such a special time for us. And even watching that video back, we banned that video from our bus because we still cry when we watch it.
Oh, I got a little teary-eyed watching you guys. I mean, you root for the people who are on stage. I mean, when you started breaking into song, it's like, wow, these people are going somewhere, you know? And you just draw in the audience. And that's the whole reason behind music, to evoke an emotion. And I love it. You Can Have Him Jolene, based on Dolly Parton's song. It's a great title, and it's a great song. Let's give it a listen.
Well, since the last song, I've had time to think it over. A lot of tears, a lot of beer, a lot of wine. I spent so much time believing that midnight phone stopped ringing, but he'd leave the room and answered every time. That broken glass in pieces, and you holding me and saying you were wrong. Well, I'm tired of second chances and these sad ass circumstances. He's your problem, good luck keeping him home. Oh, Jolene, you can have him 'cause he don't mean much to me. Well, I've cried so much till rivers turn to seas. Oh, Jolene,
what a great tune. That was just an excerpt of your song that we played there. So if people want to hear the whole thing, they need to go to your website at chapelhart.com. So what inspired that song? It's a really good one.
So this is Devynn, and during COVID, everything was kind of shut down, but we were just trying to figure out ways to stay active on social media and keep moving and shaking. So we decided to do a cover music video to 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton.
Ooh, I
And in
love
the
that
video,
movie. Yeah.
I worked as like a line cook in the video, and my shirt, it said, "You can have him signed Jolene." And so we were all just kind of like, who does this have to think she is? Now you're gonna take a man that don't belong, you're gonna give him back. He never belonged to you. So we just kind of had that, like, you know what, you can just have him Jolene idea. And then we sat down to write it, and we were like, it was one of those songs for us that was like, this is either gonna be great or terrible, but it is definitely one of the biggest songs of, if not the biggest song of our career. Everybody sees it like, oh, y'all are the Jolene girls. That's Jolene. That's Jolene. Guys.
Yeah. Has Dolly heard the song? Has she gotten back with you on that at all?
She made a tweet, but we haven't heard from her since the tweet. But I always say, well, the two parts. One, Dolly Parton knows that we are alive and human beings in the world. And amen to that.
Yeah.
And then two, it always keeps it's pretty high up on our bucket list. So there's still, it leaves a little dreaming for us to still do.
I would love to see you guys play with her. Wouldn't that be just?
God, wouldn't that be incredible?
Yeah. I mean, she's country music royalty.
Oh, yeah. Let me get y'all to put in a good word for us.
Okay. She's the world's nicest person. I really think that everybody can relate to Dolly. And I think that's the one thing that's so cool about country music. Most of the musicians are really down to earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, so we've made so many friends and just like, companions throughout this journey, and so many people who are like, I always use Vince Gill as an example, because I don't know if it gets any nicer than Vince Gill, and he's so nice. I'm just like, I always tell him sometimes, brother, you got to dial it back a little bit so some of us can reach up to that bar. Thank you. And but we do have those. Some people are just, some celebrities are just celebrities, but there's a lot of them who are like, listen, if there's anything you need, let me know. Or if there's anytime you need advice or you need to, pick my brain, let me know. And I think that's as artists and, as people, especially the artists who've come before you and who've been doing this, for them to extend that, to extend that olive branch to say, listen, whatever I can do is, it's invaluable, and it's super sweet, and it's, I don't know. It's just I think I probably should just stop it. It's super sweet. But
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I have one question for you. Do you want to stop worrying about the IRS? If the answer is yes, then look no further. I've been around for years, I've helped countless people across the country, and my success rate speaks for itself. So now you know where to find good, honest help with your tax problems. What are you waiting for? If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed in years, call me now at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com for a free consultation and get your life back.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
Whatever you do, don't stop dreaming. Don't stop doing the things that you know that you can do. These are some of the mottos of the country music trio Chapel Hart. They're living proof that in spite of the odds or barriers, you can walk into Nashville and become a country music sensation. This African-American family trio is making waves and on a mission to let people know it can be done. Dreams are achievable no matter who you are or where you come from. They want to be champions and inspire others, and they're doing just that. Their fans resonate with their down-home, relatable lyrics and melodies on their chart-topping hits, and they play to packed houses all over the country. You know, I just love your music, you guys, and I know Kathy and I have more questions than we could possibly cover in under an hour. Kathy, did you have any questions for Danica, Devynn, and Trea?
I'm kind of curious. I had the golden opportunity. My mother is 80, turning 80, and she's losing her eyesight. And her biggest wish in the world was to go to the Grand Old Opry to see it before, she goes blind. And so last year I got to bring her there. And it was quite the experience just to be in Nashville and go to the Grand Ole Opry. Right. What's it like being on stage?
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's gotta be just awesome.
I was there and Jelly Roll was there and the Rascal Flatts. And I was like, oh my mom, I told Mom, I said, Mom, don't judge a book by its cover. You got to listen to this guy.
That's so fun.
So what's it like being there? Like from the stage point of view, it's got to be so surreal.
Yeah.
I was there to say, I feel like it's a 3-part answer.
Definitely.
And I'll just say this. I think sometimes you get when you get to going, it just feels like, okay, it's another stage. It's another stage. Before we go out on the Opry, we always have to pray. But like afterwards, my hands always shake a little bit. And I'm always a little bit nervous to walk out on that stage. And I said, I pray that never, ever changes, because it is such an honor. Anytime that you get to be there, anytime you get to perform, there is not a bigger hug from an audience that you will ever get as an artist in your life than the Grand Old Opry. And that is Danica, and that is what I have to say about that.
And you guys got a standing ovation there, which had to have just sent you over the moon.
Listen, I think on our debut, we only performed 3 songs and we ended up getting 4 standing ovations.
Wow.
I'm like, how does that even happen? Like the amount of love and support that we had from Mississippi and Louisiana alone. I don't think the Opry was prepared for the Mississippi and Louisiana that came on that weekend, because it was absolute chaos. I've never seen anyone with fat heads in the Opry audience. They legit made fat heads of us, and they were running up and down the aisles. Posters. I'm like, what in the world is happening?
And they were like screaming, and it's still to this moment. Still to this day, people, and when we go back to the Opry, they go, man, y'all's debut. I was like,
yeah.
We tell our fans, y'all left the Grand Ole Opry shook.
That says something. That's a testament to your music and how talented you are. That is absolutely terrific.
Oh, thank you. And this is Trea, and I just gotta add one more thing to that. Before you even step out on the stage to perform at the Opry, being backstage at the Opry is an experience like no other. It kind of gives me I think the simplest way that I can explain it to people who haven't experienced it, it takes you back to going to your grandma's house after church and all the family's there, everybody's hanging out, snacking on food, and just fellowshipping with each other. And the fact that you have these intimate, amazing moments with your literal idols that you've grown up your entire life listening to. You walk down the hall, there's a room open, and you hear Vince Gill practicing a song before he goes out. And the fact that everyone's so invited, and they'll say, well, come in, come on in the room and listen for a little bit. That is something I can barely articulate it, let alone that's something you can't even put a price on. That is one of my absolute favorite places to be in Nashville, and one of the best experiences, and it never gets old.
And even outside of the artists, meeting all the artists, the staff at the Opry, yes. Oh my gosh.
Literally, the staff at the Opry are our official besties.
They're the real superstars.
It'd be like going to country music heaven when you think about it. And then if you start thinking about all the legacies that have walked those hallways and been on that stage.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to pinch yourself. Probably a lot.
A whole lot.
Yeah. That's so terrific. You got another song called This Girl Likes Fords. And that's as American as it gets. And by the way, I drive a Ford product, so this girl likes Fords too. That's another one of your great songs. What is that one about, and what inspired it?
Well, this is Danica, and
brace yourselves, lady.
Oh my gosh.
Remember what she said about being an oversharer.
Hey, that's great.
So I was dating this guy, and like we met. You know how when you meet somebody and it's like you have met the person, like you like it's like you've known each other your whole life already, so you don't have to go through like the pretend phase, like, oh well, I like to read, like, I don't read. And so, but like, so we met and we just like it just exploded, and we were together for a couple months, and he kind of started acting weird. I said, always at the show, I say, I did what any sensible woman would do. I went to my best friend. I told her all the symptoms. She said, Danica, it sounds like he's going to propose. I said, you think so this early? She said, yes. And turns out he was going to propose. And we were at dinner and he asked. But for the long, like since we first met, we were talking about, I said, I told him, look, I'm getting me an F-250. I got to get me an F-250. And so we were talking about it, and he was like, I'm going to help you get it. I was like, you don't have to do that. Girl, he proposed, and I mean, he asked if I would marry him, and I wanted to say yes, but what came out was, do you not remember us talking about giving me an F-250? And it just all went downhill from there. I always say he walked out of the restaurant. I hadn't seen him since, but I wrote a song about it. But it's just that, like, I said in the 2000s, I feel like, especially 2010s, it's always been like, hey girl, jump in my truck and look so good and make those shorter and shorter and shorter. And I was like, we can do that, and that's okay. I said, but I got a truck too. Won't you come jump in and ride with me sometimes?
Sit in the back.
And so just sit in the back.
I love it.
Get in your car seat and sit in the back. But and that was just really where, like, that was kind of like where that came from. And I said, I feel like we're in an era where women are really just kind of standing up and speaking out and being like, look, I like this, I don't like that. And I feel like I feel like it cuts so much of the fluff. You know what I mean?
I love your attitude. This is great. And I love the story behind it. I mean, there are always so many cool stories a lot of times behind songs. It's like, what inspired this? It's a great song. Let's give it a listen. This Girl Likes Fords by Chapel Hart.
This girl likes Fords, big ol' F-250s, mud grip tires on the wheels, and decals 'cause I like fishing. Talk about fall in love, then raise it up 6 inches. Chrome kit on a 4x4. Ooh, this girl likes Fords.
Another great Chapel Hart song. People definitely need to check out your music. Where do people find your music? I want people to buy your music. I want them to come to your concerts. Where do they find you?
They can find us almost literally anywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Apple Music, Spotify. I think Tree's on farmersonly.com. So guys, you can look down for Tree on there. So yeah, you can really find us anywhere. If you want to get merch, you can visit our website, chapelhart.com. We have everything from t-shirts, hats,
Yeah, I always tell people,
vinyls, everything.
I always tell people, look, we need all the, every time you buy merch, it goes straight to help us stay on the road. It puts a little gas in our bus. And I said, and even if you check out the music and you look at the pictures, or you watch the videos on YouTube and you hate us, still go get something. Go get it for somebody that you don't like. And they make great gag gifts for Christmas. Just go get something.
This is great. What would you say? We always like to give a little nugget to our listeners. What do you say to the ladies out there who might want to go into country music, or even they want to be inspired by life? What do you recommend? What gets you going in the morning, and what kind of message would you give people so that when they're discouraged, hey, you still can do this?
Well, this is Tree, and I feel like it's another one of those like a 3-part answers, because like you say, this is not by any stretch of the imagination an easy thing to pursue. But the one thing that I would have to say is just be yourself. It might not make sense to anybody else in the world, but if you're true to who you are, your people will come out of the woodworks. Now, they might be a little crazy like we are, but I mean, as long as you're you, that's really all you can do.
Be true to yourself.
That's it. I say find your tribe. Find the people who push you to be the best that you can be, that they don't let you slack. They don't let you just be mediocre. Find the people who, but also that they encourage you, and they like find the right people, but also be careful what you're putting in you. A lot of times I feel like people just, are you listening at, nonsense music all the time? Sometimes you got to put on those motivational speakers. And when they you got to hear them say, if you're not getting up and you're not putting this many hours into your craft and what you do, then you're just being lazy. And sometimes that stuff is harsh, but sometimes it's the kick in the butt that you need. And so I definitely say find your tribe, and just find and be careful what you're putting into you. And be putting, like, watch inspirational and motivational things, and it usually I feel like for me kind of kicks you in the butt a little bit, and you go, okay, let's do it.
Great advice. Absolutely.
This is Devynn. And I would just say go after the things that make you happy and the things that are ultimately going to make you happy in the long run. Because life is short and life is hard. So you might as well do the things that kind of set you on fire and get you going.
I love it. You ladies are exactly what the doctor ordered. And yet I totally agree with what you're saying here. This is very inspiring. This has been an honor featuring you guys.
Thank you so much, Shelley.
Thank you for having me.
We hope you've enjoyed this latest episode. And if you want to hear more episodes of Women Road Warriors or learn more about our show, be sure to check out womenroadwarriors.com. And please follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. On our website, we also have a selection of podcasts just for women. There are a series of podcasts from different podcasters. So if you're in the mood for women's podcasts, just click the Power Network tab on womenroadwarriors.com. You'll have a variety of shows to listen to anytime you want to. Podcasts made for women. Women Road Warriors is on all the major podcast channels like Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, YouTube, and others. So check us out, and please follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. If you want to be a guest on the show or have a topic or feedback, email us at sjohnson@womenroadwarriors.com.